On everybody, it's Frost, and we're here for our AEW Rampage and SmackDown review for September the 2nd, 2022. With Clash at the Castle tomorrow in the afternoon, we are a little over 12 hours away until that. And then, of course, we also have All Out this coming Sunday. So it's going to be a long time coming up with everything that's going on. So let's just talk about what we got here. First thing, we're going to talk about SmackDown, then we'll talk about Clash at the Castle, then we'll talk about Rampage, and then All Out. SmackDown was pre-taped last week, so really not much importance happening here. In the first half an hour of the entire show was a Viking Rules match, and this was really cool what WWE did here. They went out of their way to deck out the ring on each side with Viking shields, had the LED board look like a size of a ship, and then having the front of a Viking ship fastened to the front of the ring. So it literally looked like the WWE ring was transformed into a Viking ship. That was fucking cool. Give props to Triple H's team and whoever else built this thing, which that was really cool. Just really cool. So you had the Viking Raiders versus the New Day, who beat the living shit out of each other in this match. They were just, there was a point where Kingston brought out a replica of Thor's hammer, but instead of it being the color of Mjolnir, it was purple, and it was pink and gold, and the handle looked like a unicorn horn. He went up and hit Eric of the Raiders with it and smashed it over his head, so he got busted open a little bit. You could see later on he had some blood dripping from the top of his head. Not too bad, though. It was definitely hard way, but my God, I would not want to take that at all. Shields getting broken, you had tables, you had chairs, you had kendo sticks, you had Ivar of the Viking Raiders doing a fucking divide crossbody to Xavier Woods, who was on the opposite side of the barricade. That looked like that hurts. In the end, they hit the Ragnarok, which I guess is their double powerbomb finish, onto Xavier Woods through two tables that was positioned right beside the side of the ship port that they had. 1, 2, 3, and the Viking Raiders beat the New Day in what was a very good opening match. I like the name for their tag team finish. They are Vikings. Ragnarok, of course, is apocalypse, end of the world, all that stuff. So that was really cool to actually hear them call what the finisher move is called. Way better than than Thor's hammer being renamed the Viking Experience. Ragnarok works out way better. So much like last week, we got a two-part video of Drew McIntyre's journey through the WWE, getting fired, and then coming back and leading up to what he's going to be doing on tomorrow. Then we had this week the 2-year celebration of Roman Reigns, who is on his 2 years and 3 days as Universal Champion, as he captured the title in 2020 at Payback, I think it was, the week after SummerSlam, which was so fucking stupid, but on August 30th, 2020, and has held the championship since. Backstage, we see Sami Zayn and Usos. Jimmy says Zayn looks good in the suit. Zayn says that it's a special night, and he has many plans. He says he's got pictures to be set up on easels and everything. Jay says this is a bloodline celebration, asks why he couldn't help him last week. Jimmy tells him to go easy and says he has the party on lock. Obviously, this whole entire thing, Jimmy is the only one who's like Jimmy and Roman are putting up with Sami Zayn. Jay has had about enough of this guy. He is ready to just beat the living shit out of him. But it's a time and a place. And I watched this entire episode, and there were people who have said they apparently were there when this was taped, and said that the Usos were going to turn on him, but Drew McIntyre ruined that. And I'm like, watching this whole thing, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? People are so delusional. We see Kayla Braxton with Shayna Baszler. Baszler says she will be the SmackDown Women's Champion 24 hours from now. Says she will tear Liv Morgan apart limb by limb until Morgan begs her. Morgan walks in and says she won't tap. No matter what she says, no matter what she does, she will not tap out. Liv, you kind of can't. You can't go out there and say that you're not going to tap out because you kind of did last time against Ronda Rousey. Morgan says she will rip Baszler's arm off. Baszler's like, haha, I'd like to see you try. She says, watch me. We head to Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Kross addresses Roman and Drew before saying he will haunt his opponent, Drew Gulak, for the rest of his life. So we get the second part of the video of Roman Reigns to your title reign. We then head to ringside where Karrion Kross and Scarlett head to the ring. Drew Gulak is waiting. We got the full NXT-esque style presentation, which, to be honest, is all that Karrion Kross is. The biggest reason that Karrion Kross does not have the best, is not the best in the ring. Absolutely is not. The biggest reason that he was able to have any type of build in WWE is that he had this presentation. He failed on the main roster more than anything because Vince McMahon took this presentation away. Scarlett was injured, so even if they wanted to use Scarlett because they had her wrestle, they had her try out in a match, I think against Dakota Kai, was it? And she got injured, so she wasn't able to accompany him. And probably by the time she was healthy enough to come back, they were like, yeah, no, we don't need you. But he got the full entrance. He went out there, had a match where he literally put his arm, he was in the corner, he put his arms around the ropes and said, come on. And Drew Gulak went in there and gave him the hardest slap that he could, chop on the chest. That it was so hard that you could actually see Drew Gulak's hand print in Karrion Kross's chest after the match was over with. Bell ring, few shots from Gulak. Kross delivers a massive boot, which looked very bad, followed by a clothesline, delivers a side suplex, blocks in the cross jacket, and gets the win, and that is it. After the match, they tie him up in the ropes, and that was that. This was what we should have saw Drew Gulak last year when he made his debut. What was it, the night after SummerSlam? Not getting beat by Jeff Hardy in 1 minute and 6 seconds. Or less than a minute or whatever. But here's the thing. Even if Karrion Kross came out looking like this with this entrance and still got beat by Jeff Hardy, it would have been detrimental to him. Back from break, we head to the third part of the series with Roman Reigns to your title reign back in the ring, and here comes Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey grabs a mic and says she has an official statement from WWE headquarters regarding her suspension. She invites her best friend in the world, Mr. Adam Pearce, to the ring to read it. Pearce heads to the ring and says whatever the decision is, it's not personal. Ronda says that it was his personal choice to call the cops and have her arrested. Pearce said he was just doing his job before Rousey gives him the statement. He reads it and says that Rousey's behavior is unacceptable, but her behavior was never broached the level of criminal. Oh, I don't know. Coming into it like you're suspended from your job. You come on the property when you're not supposed to be there, attacking security members. I think that's a little bit of trespassing and assault. I think that's criminal. Says that the arrest was unwarranted, and while she's still on probation, her suspension is over and she will resume in-ring competition. She mocks him and he says the statement is absurd. He says it was his duty to call the police, and if he were up to him, he wouldn't have suspended her, he would have fired her. Rousey asked what he thought would happen, and Pearce asked if she thinks that what he does is easy. He goes off on her and says he's never thanked for running 2 shows on 2 networks. He says that all he gets is grief, and he's proud of his job that he does. He says he's not proud of busting his ass for people like her, and says that he has a problem with her and calls her the single biggest bitch he's ever met. Stares at him, drops the mic. He's like, you know what? That was a little unprofessional. You know what? I take it back, and I'm sorry. She knocks him over, locks in the armbar, and looks at him as he whimpers in the corner before leaving. And Michael Cole does reiterate that she attacked a WWE official so she could be fined again and suspended for her troubles. Backstage, Sami Zayn, someone approaches him and says he has a delivery for Reigns, giving him black roses with a note that says TikTok. He puts them down and says, yeah, no, we're not going to use those. Oh, the worst part of the show by far. Shit Row took on the Maximum Male Models. This match fucking sucked on all facets of the thing. Shit Row should not be in the ring. Mansoor, Mason, Mansoor should not be in the ring. All four of these guys look absolutely atrocious. Shit Row is so fucking bad. They come to the ring and their entrance gives me a fucking headache. My goodness, I'm sitting here trying to hit that mute button as fast as possible because their music is shit. The Angel and Humberto Carrillo Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo come down. They try to, flirt with B-Fab. She gets in the ring and does a drop kick to the outside to both of them. In the end, the Maximum Male Models get hit with the finisher and with the Shit Row's finisher, and that was that. After that, the two groups beat up on Shit Row until out comes the Street Profits to make the save. We're probably going to get an 8-man tag team match next week. I don't care. We had backstage at Happy Corbin and Caleb Braxton. He says he won't let his losses hold him back before saying he's issuing an open challenge. We go to commercial, we come back, and here is Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura. But before we do that, we get the fourth and final part of the series, the Roman Reigns' 2-year title reign. All of these, of course, were narrated by Paul Heyman. And then we have Shinsuke Nakamura, and this match lasted maybe 2.5 minutes. Kinshasa out of nowhere, as very interesting way how they did this is, you know how Corbin slides out of the ring, goes around the post, and comes back in. He did that, but ate a Kinshasa for his troubles as he was coming back in the ring, and Nakamura picks up the win. We get a video package of the Women's Tag Team Tournament Finals from Monday, which obviously was won by Aaliyah and Raquel Gonzalez, with Aaliyah penning the wrong person. Pete versus Marcel Barthel. Pete Dunne actually looks like Pete Dunne again. Hair down, Pete Dunne gear, wrestling like Pete Dunne. Before we got to that match, we saw Corbin sulking backstage when a very familiar limo rolls up, and all we hear is somebody ask, "What happened to you? Get in." Obviously, the limo has the bullhorns on it, so obviously it's JBL. Second ringside, we have Velter and Marcel Barthel. This match was fucking fun. It was great to see Pete Dunne be Pete Dunne. He's got the Brawling Brutes on. He's got his old gear on. It says Brawling Brutes instead of Bruiserweight, which is fine. Pete Dunne, as Pete Dunne, fits the Brawling Brutes. Absolutely. I do not need no, let me at him, Shamey. Let me at him, Shamo. Let me at him, Shamo type of... No, give me Pete Dunne. Give me the Bruiserweight. The dude is going to go out there and put your arm down, and the joint manipulation, stomping on the elbow and stuff. Everything that Shayna Baszler does is what you get from Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne did it first, obviously. Bitter end, which they actually called the bitter end, from Pete Dunne. He gets the pin and the win. After the match, Volta and Sheamus get in the ring. They both get ready to look like they're about to square up and fight. Volta stops Volta from attacking so he can save his energy for the match on tomorrow. Volta listens, and that was that. Oh, I'm sorry. We had a fifth part of the series of Roman Reigns' 2-year title reign. Why we needed 5, I don't know. We head backstage at Usos, Sami Zayn. We go through the checklist before Zayn asks if they should wait for Roman. So the 4 of them can head to the ring together. Jay asks, what does he mean by the 4 of them? And Jay is really getting tired. He's getting tired of this guy getting way too comfortable about being with the like mooching off the bloodline. So you know that's going to come to head very soon. And Jay is going to be the guy to strike first. So they head down. They come. They do their thing. They say all they can. They all introduce Roman Reigns, who wasn't even supposedly in the building until they call out Roman Reigns. A black SUV pulls up. Roman gets out. He starts walking very slowly because we're going to get that long-ass entrance when all of a sudden, boom, kick to the head onto the ramp, onto the side of the SUV. It's Drew McIntyre. He heads to the ring. He beats up all three of the other guys, lays them out, gets a microphone, tells Reigns that he will never stop. Then he tore apart the bloodline. He says that he will kick his head off in his body and Cardiff and he will look at him as he holds up the titles, and that's how the show goes off the air. Out of the Viking match at the beginning and the thing at the end, this was a very missable show. I mean, it was pre-taped, and everything just felt like boom, 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 let's get it over with. So this leads into Clash of the Castle tomorrow. Obviously, we have ourselves 6 matches. Let's start off with the Judgment Day versus the Mysterio versus Rey and Edge. I'm going with the Judgment Day with Dominic turning heel on his father. It's just like From Edge spearing him to his father picking Edge over him, this has got to be it for Dominic. And he's going to be the submissive bitch of Rhea Ripley from here on out. Walter over Sheamus for the Intercontinental title. This is going to be one of the best matches, I think, of the night. This is my personal match that I want to see more than anything is going to be Walter versus Sheamus. So I'm going with Walter. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. We're going with Seth Rollins. You're not going to have Matt Riddle win just yet because we are going to Extreme Rules. Going to get the win there. And then probably have this go to Hell in a Cell. Damage Control, Bayley, Kai and Sky over Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. I'd say Bliss takes the pinfall in this one. Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan. I'm going with Liv Morgan, but because of Ronda Rousey. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. This one is a coin toss, but I can't see especially if Drew McIntyre comes out to Broken Dreams in the UK, a pay-per-view that he has been lobbying for 5 years. Drew McIntyre. So that is going to be Clash at the Castle. So I'm going with the Judgment Day, thanks to Dominic turning heel. Walter over Sheamus. Seth Rollins over Matt Riddle. Damage Control, Bayley, Kai, and Sky over their adversaries. Liv Morgan over Shayna Baszler by hook or by crook. And then Drew McIntyre over Roman Reigns. Let's talk about Rampage here. Rampage leads us into All Out. Which, yeah, we'll talk about that here in a bit. But Ricky Starks looks to we're going to have ourselves a trios match, which for whatever fucking reason we get the trios match, do not get an entrance. I hate this. I hate this so fucking much, the fact that they have to do this. Why can't we have the entrances for the first match on television? Why do you... And it wasn't even on TV. It wasn't even on YouTube. They did not even give us the entrances on YouTube. Basically, what happened here, we had the Dark Order and Adam Hangman Page versus Orange Cassidy Best Friends. This was a very good match here. It really was. I would have to say that. It looked like the Best Friends were going to have the win when, I don't know, yeah, it just happened. We get a cheap roll-up win, and the Dark Order and Hangman Page move on to the next show. Blake Christian versus Rey Fenix. This was... I don't even know why this match was happening. Rey Fenix wrestled on Wednesday. Why are you going to have him face Blake Christian tonight? Blake Christian got a couple moves in. Phoenix beats him with his power driver pin win. That is it. Backstage with Hook and Lexi Nail, Angelo Parker, Matt Menard enter, and Parker says that he's asking what if he exposed him for the fraud that he is. Hook takes his shirt off, looks for a fight. Menard tells him they're going, not this is a time and a place. And this Sunday we're going to get a taste of the championship. So that is that. Tay Mello and Sammy Guevara versus Ruby Soho and Ortiz again. Why this match is happening, I don't know. Ortiz and Soho win with another sneaky roll-up. They will get a match at the Trios AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships at the pay-per-view. I don't care. Hangman Page and Dark Order. Don Callis walks in and congratulates them. Page says he likes where his head is. Callis says he likes where his head is after he turned his back on the Bucks and brushed them off. Screwing your friends over for money and power. But he didn't say what friends. He didn't say what friends when he said Page screwing his friends over for money and power. We'll talk about that here in a second. Athena, Jay Cargill, and the baddies backstage in a interview. Cargill says their issues have been drawn out way too long. Athena says that has gone on for too long because of her attitude, and she's afraid that Athena is going to be the one to beat her for the championship. Cargill says she deserves to have someone get in her face. Athena says she will beat her, and for every woman in the back that has to deal with that bitch and all of her bullshit. So there's that. Back from break, we head to Swerving on Glory and the Acclaim. Max Caster says they are the best homegrown tag team, #1 shirt seller. Lee says that he told them to stop joking around with their raps, and Swerve reiterates that. He tells Caster to stop joking before telling Bowens to he keeps letting Caster down with all of his injuries, and they are going to be the ones to win on Sunday. We get at ringside, we have FTR and Wardlow make their way in. Dax says they've tried to be tough guys, but sometimes he's outside of his inner circle of his friends. He's felt worthless. He felt like outside the circle, no one really loved him. Then 2022 happened. The fans happened. He says FTR's momentum turned around and addressed while they're facing Lethal and Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. He says match means a lot to him. And goes to the legacy of the career when Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt head out to the ringside area. Sabin introduces themselves and says they define this generation of tag team wrestling from the greatest city in the world, Detroit. Oh, come on, Chris. You know you're joking, right? The crowd voiced their dislike for the Machine Guns, as Shelley says, while they are objectively the best tag team out there, which he's saying to FTR, that they have influence and respect in the locker room, unlike them. He says when they see everyone in the industry that has to offer, they say they're a family. That asks Harwood if he's going to fight like his 8-year-old brat, as Harwood charges at him. Of course, Wardlow and Cash have to prevent this and stop him. So, things getting a little personal on the road to All Out. QT Marshall, Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks locked the factory in their room. Marshall tried to get them free. Stark attacked him. They spill out into the outside. They get into the ring. They have a match. It doesn't last very long. Spear, Rochambeau, that is that. After the match, Hobbs marches to the ring. The two men begin brawling, raining down right no hands on each other. Referees try to break it up, but the pair keep going. Jericho's talking shit to Bryan Danielson, who does walk out to the ringside area. He stares down Jericho on commentary desk as the show goes off the air with them both having words. What else you want me to say? There's not much happening on Rampage. I know Tony Khan addressed it during his media scrum yesterday, but honestly, it just sounds like a bunch of excuses. Let's talk about the pay-per-view here. So, on 0 Hour, we have Tay Mello and Sammy Guevara versus the team of Ruby Soho and Ortiz for the titles from AAA. I really don't care about this match. I'm going with Tay Mello and Sammy Guevara. Who gives a shit? Also on 0 Hour, Pac versus Kip Sabian for the All-Atlantic Championship. I'm going with Pac on this. I don't see any reason for Kip Sabian to win it. Hook over Angelo Parker, and then the match that I'm looking forward to on the 0 Hour overall, Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. I'm going with Eddie Kingston. Ishii beat him in Japan. New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Strong. It's time for Eddie Kingston to get the win. We're going to have a 1-1, and whenever they're going to have the third match, who knows? Sting versus Chris Jericho. This one is definitely a toss-up. This is all going to come down to who does Daniel Garcia actually side with. I'm going to go Chris Jericho, and Daniel Garcia is going to be the one to cost Danielson. Toni Storm versus Apollo Shit versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. I hate the interim word. Jon Moxley hated the fucking interim word. That's why they got rid of it and gave him the world title. I'm going with Toni Storm. The match was supposed to be Toni Storm's for the win anyway, so just go with it. Tony Khan said he wants to reboot the women's division this coming Sunday. That does not mean you give it to the worst women's champion in company history, who held that title hostage for 10 months and ruined any prestige that title could have. House of Black versus Darby Sting and Miro. I'm going with House of Black. The House of Black needs this win. They absolutely do. Sting can lose, Darby can lose, and Miro can use this as revenge, as motivation to beat up every single member of the House of Black before he gets to Malachi. I'm going with Athena over Jade Cargill. Jade needs to lose that title. There's nothing left for her to do. She's done everything that she can. Time for her to lose the belt. Jerry versus Christian Cage. I'm going with Christian Cage with the help of Luchasaurus, who is going to show that he is on Christian Cage's side. FTR and Wardlow versus the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. Motor City Machine Guns, of course, are on loan from Impact Wrestling to show you that Impact and AEW still have a working relationship. It was just on the fence for a while. Wardlow and FTR, there's no reason they should not win this match, with Satnam Singh taking a powerbomb somewhere down the line. This is the biggest toss-up of the show. Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeling Yuta, Penta El Miedo, Rey Fenix, Luis El Toro Blanco, Andrade El Idolo, and Dante Martin in a person to be determined for the right to get a world championship opportunity, probably at Grand Slam. I'm going with Samoa Joe or Adam Cole as the Joker of this match, and I would say, the biggest toss-up is who's going to win. I'm going with Ray Phoenix. I think it's a left out of the park thing. Ray Phoenix, Russo, Andrade are going to be my 3 top picks for this one. Nowhere else. Swerve and Glory over the Acclaim. There's no reason to take the titles off of Swerve and Glory just yet. Ricky Starks will lose to Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs needs to win this. Ricky Starks will get his revenge later on, hopefully with bigger stakes. The Elite versus Hangman Page in the Dark Order. I'm going with the Hangman Page in the Dark Order because the Elite get fucked over by Adam Cole if he's not in the Casino Ladder match. And then Jon Moxley versus CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. I'm going with Jon Moxley. I don't give a fuck. I don't see a reason to give it to CM Punk. The dude went out there and jumped and broke his fucking foot. It's not Jon Moxley's fault. And you're going to take that title away from him because you got to go with CM Punk. If they go with CM Punk, I'm not going to be mad. So, to reiterate all this stuff, I'm going with Tay and Sammy, Eddie Kingston over Ishii, Pac over Kip, Hook over Angelo Parker, Danielson, Chris Jericho over Danielson, Tony Storm over the other 3, House of Black, Athena, Christian Cage, Wardlow and FTR, Phoenix, Russo, Andrade for the Casino Ladder match, Swerve and Glory over the Acclaimed, Powerhouse over Ricky Starks, the Hangman Page in the Dark Order over the Elite, and Jon Moxley over CM Punk. Those are my predictions for both Clash of the Castle and All Out. I will have reviews for both of them on Saturday and Sunday. Until then, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, follow me on Minds at the France Club, follow me on twitch.tv/the and follow me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Clash at the Castle. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.